And so, viewers, yesterday, news filtered in that having met with the Council of States and the Nigerian Governors Forum, Tinubu, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu had, unanimous applause from everyone concerned at those meetings, or that meeting, because the Council of States is made up of governors, is made up of serving and retired chief justices of Nigeria, made up of the Senate President and the Speaker of the House of Representatives, and so on. And so those elites gathered together and gave a thumbs up to the regime, including, of course, very importantly too, including the former heads of state. And reports say that they were all in attendance, either virtually or physically. Some were not physically present, but they connected virtually. So the report says that they gave the administration thumbs up. And I'm saying, looking at the background of the fact that just a week ago or thereabouts, people were on the streets protesting. Ambassador, of course, my guest is Ambassador Agala, Ambassador Jeremiah Agala. And I like to put it across to you. What's your take on that, considering the fact that we just had a protest on the basis of people feeling that there's hunger, people expressing massive hunger all over the place, and a whole lot of other issues. Yet, a few persons gather who are supposed to also be representing us. They gather together and they say, wow, the government is doing great, it's doing excellently. How do you see that?
Thank you so much for being here. It's a privilege, and I'm excited being here.
Right.
I think they have access to certain level of information that we do not have access to.
Okay.
Because I wouldn't know how else you would want to explain that there's heightened hunger, poverty is increasing, we have statistics to show all of that, and then certain group of people gather and say he's doing well.
Yeah.
So obviously they have access to certain knowledge or information which we do not have, but that does not reflect the reality on ground, what the people are actually going through. I would have expected that from that meeting, certain people would have spoken truth to power. Look at them and say, improve on these areas, cut down on these areas, make this possible. But if all of the things we're hearing from that conversation is that a vote of confidence is being passed on the president, so obviously they are voting that hunger should continue, they are voting that the fuel queues should continue, they are voting that a whole lot of things that keep impoverishing the people, including the policies that are being implemented, should continue. I think they are not expressing the real challenges the people who they are supposed to represent are actually going through. So for me, I wouldn't want to take that completely the wrong way, but I feel they should be able to come out to tell us what they know that we do not have access to.
Yeah, whatever information they have access to, does it cancel the reality of Nigerians on the street? Do you think that they have any kind of information that can rubbish the daily realities of the common man on the street, the daily reality that what certain commodities used to sell for, the prices are now threefold or twofold, and so on and so forth? Does it rubbish the fact that, like you also alluded to, does it rubbish the fact that there are queues right now in a country that produces oil? Does it rubbish the fact that what kind? Let's reason together and try to look at what kind of information will it be that cancels out what the reality is. What do you think it could be?
Let me assume that they have access to certain things the president and his executives are doing to improve on the lives of the general populace. Let me assume that they have access to those information, which obviously is not in the public domain yet. One thing I know is that there is no transition that is easy. there is no transition that is smooth.
Agreed.
So let's agree that based on the ruts that had existed in the system over the years, the Tinubu administration is actually working on fixing those stuffs, and he's doing a whole lot, and he's doing great at it, and we're not aware. So they could have access to those information, and they've refused to share with us. So maybe that's what they are actually giving vote of confidence on, that you're doing well. So far, what you've done great based on the template you're working on. And then we do not have access to it. That's my assumption, But maybe that's why we're feeling it on the street today. I want to think that should be it. But if that's not the case, then I think some of the people who gave those votes of confidence should be called to order. Let them share with us what they think is being done right within the last 1 year plus of this administration, that we should be patient and should celebrate.
That is not currently in the public domain.
That's not currently in the public domain. Or that we should... In fact, I think that these people should have sat down to address the issues that the protesters raised.
That was a fantastic opportunity.
That was an opportunity to have a conversation around that. But rather than do that, what we've always known them for is what they've actually exhibited, not having the interest.
Maybe I should chip this in, that much more than giving a vote of confidence,
yes,
they also went ahead to say that the hunger protest was actually a move to change the regime.
Okay, that's a narrative that suits whatever they wanted to achieve, because as much as I agree completely that it was ill-timed, I'll tell you why.
Okay, right. I'd like to have that.
Yes, I'll tell you why. I feel there's heightened hunger, and then you're telling me to go on the street with hunger. How do I want to do that? Some of the people in question have not eaten. Some of the people in question do not even have transportation to where the protest was going to take place. There was no structure in place for that protest to run effectively. I've always said to people, during the Jonathan's administration, where Tinubu and his opposition leaders led a protest, you had people who could be traced. You had leaders. It was an opposition thing, not a youth thing. Young people with no leadership, young boys from nowhere. I see some titles, I see some names being bandied around, and I'm asking, where are these guys? Where are they coming from? I felt that protest should have been staged by the opposition parties coming together, rather than being united to actually present an opposition to this government, and then use the protest as a platform to convey the challenges of the people. Our opposition leaders actually sat home and they were tweeting from their homes, condemning what should be condemned and praising those who were on the street. So for me, I did think that the protest was properly organized. And that's the more reason why it didn't achieve its aim. For instance, the last day of the protest, I think I saw some news everywhere. There's going to be a 1 million march and all that on the Saturday of it. It never happened. That's because it's already been weakened before it even started.
Before it started, yeah.
So
now, two things quickly.
Quick.
Now, if you say that it was ill-timed because it was at a time when people are hungry and really many of them didn't have the strength. I do not know. I would want to use a biblical story of when people were under a siege and there were lepers amongst the people, and they said, look, if we remain here, we perish. Whether we go and make an effort to go forward and seek for succor, we could also perish. So what do we choose? Heads or tails? We lose. But in the process, they found solution. Now, I'm saying to you, isn't it possible that that's a psychology that motivated? I mean, whether we do the protest or not, some of them are dying already, like you have also alluded to. I mean, some of them had no hopes of the next day. They had no hopes of the next meal. And so it's better, I think, I'm thinking in their minds, in line with their psychology. I mean, it's better to protest. Maybe this could bring some change, and to say that to say that it didn't quite achieve its aim, it's debatable as far as I'm concerned, because you see, considering how weakened, considering the efforts the government, the establishment had made to ensure that it didn't hold, and the level of the protest, I think you will agree that it was even miraculous that they attained that level, because we're talking about before the protests, you had security cordons in several places. Several high-level traditional rulers had been invited and mobilized to speak with the people to whittle it down and all that. In addition to that, you had women who had come from all the states and banded together in Abuja around the Eagle Square somewhere and saying no to the protest, and so many other things. And then also, even during the protest, you had situations where security forces kept on them and were tear gassing them and all that. So I think that against this backdrop, I'd like you to take another look at the performance, the effectiveness of the protest.
Looking at all of this you have mentioned, that would have told you that that's not the right time to have proceeded with that protest. It should have also told you that the people who should have led the protest were not on the forefront of leading that protest. And I'll tell you why. Also, before then, there was one you failed to mention. The president had approved the new minimum wage. So TUC and NLC were out of the protest completely. So it didn't carry the weight it should have carried.
Don't forget, Ambassador, don't forget that I said here some time ago that this government is skilled in negotiation and they know how to wear you out. Because if you ask me, I do not think that Labour ordinarily would have given up at a 70,000 naira level. As against about 600 that they asked for. But then they had been on this for months, going to almost a year. And so at a point, it will be like, I mean, you get tired. You just say, okay, what do you have? What can we get now so we can take to our people? Don't forget, as you mentioned, the 70,000 naira, which had been approved by the government, it's one of the items that those people listed. And they were asking, take it to 200, was it 200 or 250?
Yes.
250,000.
Yes.
So it then meant that for them, for the organizers of that protest, 70,000 was not
enough. Now, if it wasn't, were they part of the labor movement?
No, but aren't we one way or the other part of? You know what happens? Let me give this. Let me give this analogy.
Okay.
Usually, in companies, for example, and maybe other, but companies, you would find out that senior staff hardly go on strike.
Agreed.
In banks, in those days when you had NUBIFIE, I think NUBIFIE, National Union of Banks, Insurance, Financial Institutions, Employees, that's the junior staff. Then you had ASBIFI, Association of Senior Staff of Banks in Insurance Companies, Financial Institutions, or something like that. So normally ASBIFI will hardly go on strike. Why? They don't have any business going on strike, because whatever the juniors are able to win, it will affect them. It's not possible that a junior staff who had been earning 500 naira is now elevated to 900 naira, and a senior will not get it. So they stay in the background, they pretend as if they're not interested, but they egg on the junior staff and say, you are doing well, push and push on. So we can't really say that they weren't speaking for every person. In actual fact, if you notice, you'll find out that even the Labour at one point had to put out a statement that you don't have to start killing people because they're protesting. Are you?
Yes, I saw that.
So
I completely agree with you.
Yeah.
And like you have accepted to, this administration is a master when it comes to negotiation. Now, they had done this negotiation, and already before then, there's been this rumor of there's going to be protest and all that. So the question you would have asked yourself is, what happened that all of a sudden, Labour that was saying 200 and they were not shifting grounds, accepted 70, just about a week or two before the protest?
Yeah, that's the point.
So,
They had got to the point where they couldn't
They were taking off. That needed to be settled before the protest. Have you imagined what would have happened if Labour was on the street with these young people? That was off. Even when it looks like during the protest, Labour wanted to come on, TUC said they are not part of it. Categorically, that they were not part of it. So you understood that already there's been division amongst them. That aside, now looking at all of these indices, it's something that if you have a strategist who was putting the protest together, he would have said, let's allow this calm down. There's been threats from the military, there's been a lot of things had happened. So you would have allowed it to wait for a time where everybody is tired and needs a change. I still maintain that it was ill-timed, because when you have seen that your enemy supposedly has already gotten access to your strategy and is willing to counter what you were going to do, you would sit down and re-strategize. Come up with something. Yeah. Now, my part of saying that the protest didn't achieve its aim. Oh, it was a beautiful outing that they had to even say something. It's courageous. I admire their courage. But what I'm saying is, in all of their demands, which one was met?
Whose fault would that be?
Well, maybe it wasn't properly presented, because some of the demands being made were not demands that could be actualized by this government. For instance, scrapping the National Assembly. Was that a demand that was reasonable?
Well, see,
is the National Assembly the problem of Nigerians?
I want to assume that yes, you have a family already.
Agreed.
Good. When your son comes, your little boy comes, and he says, Daddy, very unreasonable request. You already have 1 or 2 cars, but Daddy, these your cars are not good. I want Daddy Toby's kind of car. Maybe that's a Range Rover 2023 or 2024. And he says, Daddy, if we don't have that, I'll not ride in your car again. Will you attend to it or not? As unreasonable as it is. So the point I'm trying to make,
what you would do in that situation,
what you would do is to calm the boy down and
call him to a conversation.
Exactly. So no, right there and then, you would say to him, most probably, you would say to him that, look, what is the use of a car? Is to move us around. And we already have this, and we have this. If we have this and this, with time, very shortly, we'll get to that one.
Okay.
We'll get to that.
Did the government call for a negotiation?
No, first of all, government had opportunity. The entire nation was saying, respond to these people. And the man responded, took the Sunday, I think the 4th day of the protest, and responded. But the response, and that's what you pointed out, except that you have presented it in a different perspective. Now, he responded, but he did not attend to any of the issues raised. So whose fault will that be? I ask again. Whose fault will that be? I
remembered also, I'm not holding brief.
No, we're trying to shed light on
because matters. I remembered a particular interview one of the protesters granted. He said they were not ready to negotiate with anybody, that their form of negotiation and conversation is via a protest. So once somebody's mind is made up to go through a particular route in making you understand what he wants, you give him time. We have freedom of expression. So I felt the government allowed them express their grievances. The truth is, it was loud enough for those who attended the Council of State meeting to have heard what they were saying. So that they can now be the ones to be spokespeople for the protesters. And say, okay, Mr. President,
they should be at a middle.
Do you understand
this consensus, this unanimity
of let's have a conversation. Mr. President, this and this and this was what they said. We have been here. We understand the position you are in. What can we do? In the immediate. You have what it takes to achieve this, to achieve this, to achieve this. And then the government should have come out to now and say, okay, having had this conversation, our elders have actually said this and they have spoken for the people. So this is what we are willing to do.
Exactly. And then let me chip this in, because we must not gloss over certain very critical elements of that protest.
Sure.
Very unique element of that protest is the fact that notice was given for like a month.
Agreed.
Else, even all the things that the government put together would not have been able
they would have not put it
they would not have been in a position to put it together. Now, having been that benevolent, having been that how do I say it now, conciliatory, if you like, is that the right approach that government should have, people who wanted, if they didn't want dialogue, they would just bring a surprise. That's most of the strikes, most of the protests we've had are usually come unannounced. But these people, apparently from a position of wanting discussions, wanting dialogue, gave notice of, I think, a month. I think a month. If not a month, at least 2 weeks. Now, within a month, if government is truly interested, if government truly represents the people, shouldn't they have taken advantage of that window to say, okay, now these people are saying this, rather than see what I think that some other method could have been because applied. All that time government was speaking with the traditional rulers. That energy and that time could have been deployed in speaking with the organizers themselves, or in the alternative, attending to one or thing. Two of the exactly one thing or two, and say, look, we have done this, but you know that government work is not something you do. It's not just it's not a magic wand that you just say and it's done, and then it's done. So we've done this one to make you understand that we are with you. But we will, in the course of the next 6 months, we are ready to be able to do this. But this is very difficult. We might not be able to do this. Two things, maybe the constitution or the constitution change, and the one you mentioned just now, the
scrapping of the National
Assembly. You could be that open. And I think that would have forestalled the entire protest. But you see, when you get people to the point where they say, okay, threat, okay, we will kill you, or we will do this to you, there are people who get energized by that kind threats. Yes, by threats.
And they look at the lives of other people at arm's way, you know, because they are followers who would not be able to think for themselves. They believe whatever their Oga have said is actually what they are.
Some of their leaders were around. And some of the leaders that some people are insinuating were not around, we know them to have always been in forefront. For example, Sowore. If somebody thinks that Sowore is maybe being cowardly, that would be funny, because over the last close to 20 years, Sowore from his Unilag days has always been in the forefront of protests. For me, and in any case, one of the leaders of the protest was right here in the studio yesterday, Deji. You know, Deji Dayo. He was right here yesterday, and I also saw him and I interviewed him on the streets. So that blank statement of their leaders were not at the scene of this thing is not totally correct, because I'm not hearing it from you alone. I've heard it.
Let me share with you my perspective when I talk about leaders not being.
Let's not forget that the whole essence of this is to say, was it right? And I think you have.
We're coming.
You made it.
Okay.
A good
now,
point
my
already.
idea is, let's compare both protests. The protest that caused a change of government that ushered in the APC, and the protest during this APC administration was the comparison I made. Now you had prominent leaders, prominent faces, the Bakares, the Soyinkas, the Tinubus. You had faces.
To the protest.
To the protest. Now I am saying, rather than have just young boys, there should have been a formidable opposition leading this protest. Where are the PDPs? Where are the where are the SDPs? Where are they? That's where I am coming from.
Good point.
Do you understand?
Good point.
That's one. Number two, like I said, I'm not a spokesman for this administration. I will not be any day, because there are certain things I do not agree with. But what I am saying is, there were things that this protest would have taught them. For instance, before the protest, immediately the FCT minister started calling a town hall meeting of young people. So they knew what to do. They knew how to address this issue, but they pretended not to know. So when the protest was coming, they were now trying to have smaller units who will counter the protest. So most young people now who have allegiance to the minister now started having small units meeting here and there. So those people will not join. So already,
which is some total divide and rule.
Sure. This thing, that's where I'm even coming from. The government is not completely sincere. If they were, they would have gone your route by saying, we can do this, we can do this. That's why I said, except they are doing things we do not know about to alleviate the sufferings of the people. Aside that, this vote of confidence passed on this administration, I think it should be questioned. We should ask, what are they passing vote of confidence on? It is on the basis of that. We can then look at young people and say, okay, I think you didn't have the proper information, and that was why you protested. But now this is what they are doing. So I think if the government actually have the interest of the people at heart, they should come out and tell us this and this and this is what we are working on. Expect this in the next few days. And then from that point, we are sure of where we are headed for. Because for me, let it not be that the protest was a waste. The time, the energy, the resources was a waste. Let it not also be that the effort of the government, which we are not aware of, is also a waste. Until we get results, we do not know what they are doing.
Right. Now, so I think that we've done a whole lot of work on that already. Let's look at the issue of, the Japa syndrome, the Japa phenomenon has become a real problem to the point where it's not only youth who are now Japaing. and this Japa thing has been a long while coming. You remember in about, was that 84, 94 or something? I think it was under Buhari as military leader or Babangida or something, when this song on NTA used to rain, the airwaves, Andrew, don't check out to Nigeria, go better, but Andrew has still been checking out. So,
Nigeria
not just young Andrews this time, you have even elderly Andrews. There are 60-year-olds who are relocating. So it shows how frustrated many people feel. And that's been taking a toll, particularly on the health sector, where doctors and nurses have been constitute a large percentage of those who have been leaving, because they find that those places rich greener pastures. They have better working conditions, they have better salaries, and so on and so forth. And so now, government has looked at it and feels that, look, this is so totally not going to help us. Now we have a health sector that is in disarray. Right, that is in disarray, and that needs fixing. Now, let's take a break, and after that we continue. Let's take a breather at least. Yeah. Welcome back, viewers. I hope you're still there. We're glad to be here, and we're believing that you're there also watching all that's going on, and very shortly we expect that you also participate in the conversation as you call our number. Many of you already have the number, but at the appropriate time, you would also have the number on the screen, so you can also be part of the conversation. Now, I was saying, so government thinks that something needs to be done urgently to stem the tide of relocation that we have, and so that we can have sufficient hands to also take care of our own health sector. And so on the basis of that, they have gone ahead to put a bill together, and the president has signed into law the bill, insisting that medical personnel have to fulfill certain conditions. And I know one of them particularly is that doctors, when they qualify, have to serve a number of years before they can relocate. Looking back, the argument has been that the cost of training doctors is huge, yet government absorbs a larger part of the cost because the school fees do not cover at all, does not come near to covering what the cost of training a medical doctor is. And so it's being viewed as a loss, double loss, if you like, double jeopardy, that the persons that you have spent so much money on is not ready to really give back or perform, and then is looking for somewhere else to go. I think that's the background. Now, so I'm saying to you, Ambassador, do you think that that's wisdom? Do you think that that's
sometimes we tend to just scratch the surface of a matter rather than looking inward. Why are these people leaving the country? Should be our first question. Now, if we've known why they are leaving, what are we doing to address those issues? Number 3, how many children of the elite actually study medicine in this country? These are questions to ask. Let's get into it. Number 1, a lot of young people, a lot of older people leave the country to go work abroad.
Yeah.
Now, some of the things they tell us is taxation there is a weight on people.
Yeah.
People are willing to go and carry that weight.
Weight of tax.
Why? So it means the weight of tax is not even compared to the suffering they face here. So the little money you give them here, they are willing to go and pay taxes there and collect higher.
And probably even face racism.
Face racism, face all the issues in fact, there are certain positions you will not get to.
Sure.
Because you are either dark skin or something. As much as we are intelligent, we are some of the best across the world. They are willing to go through anything just to be out there. It then means what you are passing them through here is much more than that. So until you begin to address those things, there is no way you will stop anybody from traveling. For instance, if it becomes a crime to travel before your time. It cannot be a crime to travel. The best I will do is I won't study your medicine. I'll go study it in Ghana. I'll go study it in Sudan. I'll go study it in Cameroon and relocate. Who loses at the end of the day? The same Nigeria. Because you have only given people an opportunity not to even maximize your institutions. We are saying we should strengthen our institutions so people can. There was a time we had issues with some of these certificates from some of these African countries. It was all over the place. We are going to do this. Recently, I'm sure you saw that there was a mobilization of some uncertified students to NYSC. What are we doing from Unica? What are we doing to address these things? Rather than address them, we are having more rots in the system. How much? Look at our institutions. Look at this federal university. They are still, give them some time. They will come out for protest again. Because some of the things they have asked to be addressed have not been addressed. And then you sit here, you tell us that you are subsidizing the cost of studying medicine. It is just for the poor children who have no hope of traveling. Because their children are not studying here. They don't even need you. You need them. So my idea is, beyond signing into law, watch how long you should stay before you travel. Some of these children may not even have access to travel. So they are here for life. So whether you sign the law or not, they are here. The same people who are signing the laws are the people who will send their children abroad. And you can't question them. Because we have selected laws in this country. It affects selected people. So, sir, what I would say is address the issue in the medical sector. Now, some of these countries these people go to, understand that there are certain aspects you don't joke with. I was talking to somebody today, and he told me when you travel to Finland, that they give more priority and attention to education. So, except you are a first-class graduate, you don't teach in their institutions. So you can imagine the kind of people they would turn out from such institutions. There are countries that give attention to health. And they would do anything to ensure that their health sector is preserved. Which area in this country are we giving attention to? That we are willing to do anything to ensure. Listen, if there are things, if our system is working, if we have structures in place, you don't need to sign a law for people to stay back. You don't need to coerce people. Ghana should be coming in. Cameroon should be coming in to work here. But you can't even tell a Ghanaian go and work as a medical doctor in Nigeria. He won't even be willing to. So, sir, I think there is much more we need to do beyond signing into law. stopping people from traveling. It's not necessary.
Don't you think such a law would even have been more effective if, for example, it is complemented with another law saying that public officers should not go get medical attention abroad?
That is if they have sincerity of purpose. But because we don't, we look at just an aspect. Advisors we have around the president, we just for selfish reasons. How many of them use our local hospitals?
Exactly.
So I would have even preferred that there should be another law that would have said for medical doctors, rather than increase salaries for only judges, you should have increased and given attention to medical personnel to be increased. We started crying from COVID-19. They are still crying till today. Nothing had been done to some of the demands they made since COVID-19 until date. And we are here telling ourselves that we want to sign a law that will stop people from traveling, to treat rich people. If you do not have the equipment to work here, if you do not have the conducive environment to work here, if your salary is not enough, if you stop me from traveling, I'll leave the law profession for you and go and be a businessman. So are we not still having brain drains? Are they not having their private hospitals everywhere?
Yeah, but you won't be able to operate your private hospital.
Why?
No, you won't be able to. That's what it will. It will be. Else, it will. That's an easy way out, and no law is going to provide. no law is going to provide that kind of way out.
So because I will leave the government hospital for you and go set up my own hospital. So I could also leave it and not set up a hospital and just be doing something else. I could join in.
That would be a serious loss.
But there's a loss for us as a nation already.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Yeah, please, what's your name?
My name is Emmanuel. I'm calling from Abuja here.
All right, please, let's have your take.
Thank you for all your celebration.
All right, thanks.
I appreciate especially your guest.
Right.
With all he's been contributing here, it shows that he's proven that yes, he really knows what he's doing.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, my context as far as this is concerned is this. Let us all go back again and still realize that room has never been used in a day.
Mm-hmm.
And from the other side of the whole story, that protest why it could not succeed is within the government, just as the analysts really took out his mind by saying, yes, this is a strategy. We have a government who are good at negotiation. Yes, the best way as far as protest or crisis is concerned is go back to the negotiation table and analyze what are these and what are the stakes. What is not available and what is going to be available. What we can offer and what we cannot offer. So the people who organized this protest never came out. And as a result of that, nobody was handpicked to see yes, it was the brain behind all of this. And people misconstrued all of this and diverted the protest to another region.
Another region?
What I mean by
another area. Okay. Now, Emmanuel, quickly, let me take you up quickly. Okay. Now, when you say the leaders didn't come out, did the leaders need to come out to tell the nation that once upon a time, one mudu of rice, once upon a time, not long ago, a mudu of rice or a mudu of beans used to be 600 or 800 or something. Right now, it costs 3,000 naira. Did the government need leaders to come say this? That's one. When you say they didn't come out, there was a charter of demands in the public domain for like a month before the protest took off. There was a charter, 10 items on the charter of demand in the public domain. When you say, so we need to have clarity, and that's why I'm asking.
Okay, you know, what I mean by leaders, or that those who actually want to organize this whole protest, and there are people that are brains behind them.
Yes.
Or there are people who actually champion all of those things to ensure that all of those things succeed. But as far as I'm concerned, just as we were able to analyze that of the NLC, we saw the TUC, we saw the actions, or rather the reactions of the TUC and that of the NLC. That was the gap. And that alone has spelled out that something was there. But as far as this one I'm referring to, or this instance I'm referring to, is concerned, the leaders, or rather the organizers, ought to have come to a drawing table with government. Yes, even if there was a period time given to them. The government were still in discussion with the NLC. They were still doing some other things to ensure that yes, those things were a factor. And even as far as we are concerned, we are not against the protest. But because the protest actually will produce exactly what the people demand is concerned. We are disappointed now based on what the meeting held yesterday. People are not happy because why would they give the government a vote of confidence? They really have to, they can react like that. They can expose, because in our own domain, we are seeing it as if nothing is working. In their own domain, they are actually seeing what exactly the government is doing. And that was why they give them votes of confidence.
Very good, very good. Emmanuel, as you begin to round up, don't you think that clearly then says that there's a disconnect between the government and the government? And should there be such a disconnect?
Obviously, it's not supposed to be.
Good. If I mean, like you have just told the line of my analyst in the house who has said maybe there's something they're doing and that we do not know. But, well, it's good to give those benefits of doubt so as to make peace. But clearly, don't also forget that even in the course of negotiating with government, at a point, Labour also called for a strike. Do you remember?
Yeah, I do.
Very good. So, it's not, I'm not holding brief for the protest organizers. I'm just saying that none of the things that they have done also is so outrightly out of place. It's just that the only thing that is a takeaway, and you can be sure that the next time they probably have to have a protest to make, there will be no announcements, because the reason why government could go to court and secure that judgment and do all kinds of things was simply because they said in so time we will be going on a protest. And yet I like you, as you go off air now, or go off the phone now, I like you to go back and really think about the fact that a month-long ultimatum was given that was not used. Thanks, Emmanuel, for calling.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And enjoying your deliberation.
Thank you. Now, yeah. Okay. So, like I was saying,
he said something. He said Rome was not built in a day. I agree.
But it was eventually built.
That's why
we have been on the route of promises for so long.
Nigeria is not going to be built in a day.
In the way it's not going to be built at all.
We have not even laid the foundation to even have an idea. We don't even have a roadmap. For instance, I was reading about the Charter of Dubai. They have a strategy that if they must engage in anything, if it is not big or second to none, they are not getting involved in it.
Just to set the pace.
They are setting a pace for development. So they are involved in it only if it's the biggest. They are involved in it only if they are the second best. Anything less than that, just because other people are doing it, they are not getting involved. There are countries who have a roadmap. So even if the prince is no longer alive, the next person who takes over from him knows what to do. What did Buhari set that Tinubu is following?
Well,
what did Jonathan keep on the ground that Buhari took over from? The rail project that was completed was the only thing, which we are still struggling with till tomorrow. Today it is working, tomorrow is not working. So until we go back to the drawing board and sit down and ask ourselves, where are we going as a nation? The whole agitation of it is a north thing, it's a south thing, it's leader from the north, it's leader. We will keep running around circles. These guys are rotating powers within themselves. North will give to south, south will give to north. We will keep being at the same circle, and the masses will still be the ones they play on. They ride on us to get into power. So I think we need to sit down beyond passing vote of confidence. When a Council of State meeting is convened, they should be able to sit down as a team. From where I started to where we were, to this, what do we have? Can we sit down and tell ourselves for the next 30 years, this is what this nation is going to be like?
Let me chip, this is just something that just dropped in my mind right now. Is it possible that, there's this tendency in human beings to want others to fail as you failed? Yeah, there's the tendency. There's a tendency.
That sounds like an African
to say, so when they see you erring, they applaud you. Big up. Thumbs up. so that at the end of your 4 years, you can be rubbished the way they are being rubbished. Don't you think it's very possible? And this is something that the current government needs to really look at.
We have a Hall of Fame for failures who have governed over the years. So, I mean, is somebody who has failed or who has been dubbed failed and now has opportunity to help you not to fail. Chances are, particularly like you have domiciled it in Africa, particularly in Africa, chances are that such a person also wants you to go down, to go into the Hall of Infamy like him. And so he keeps goading you on that you're doing well. You're doing well till you fall into a ditch. It's possible that's what some of those people are just doing. And in any case, don't also forget that some of these people come from different parties. They come from different, some of them have grudges. I feel
some of them have grudges.
And I'll tell you why. So a time is coming where we will know no party.
Yeah, that's it.
A time is coming where we will know no tribe. A day is coming in this country we will know no religion.
And that's when
we will sit down and address every leader as a person.
Yeah.
And they would account for their stewardship. A day is coming. We are Nigerians. We are not. I'm not Crossivarian. I'm a Nigerian. You are not Kaduna. I don't see a Niger State person. I see a Nigerian.
Yeah, until we see ourselves as Nigerians.
So we need to get back to that point. And some of these people are forgetting that age will catch up with them someday. Where is Buhari today? Daura. The same people he governed, and they couldn't see him. Today, he would not drive with more than 2 or 3 cars.
Let's take this person quickly. Hello?
Hello.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Yeah.
Let's have your name, your location, and your contribution. Yeah?
Okay, I'm calling from Onitsha, Anambra State.
Your name is?
Okay, my name is Stanley.
Yeah, quickly, please. Let's have your contribution.
You know, this our country, Nigeria, is kind of turning to something else. You know, I'm not sincere to you. You and I know the truth. Like yesterday, president-elect.
President, not president-elect. Yeah, go on.
Have kind of meeting with all the ex-president and the former.
Yeah, that's what we said at the beginning. So make your point quickly, please.
Okay. You know, all these things they're trying to kind of control the whole. You know, because that's how it is.
All right.
Somebody woke up one morning and did something, and he will do that thing.
Stanley, you know, we don't have all the time in the world. You would need to, yeah, we understand your point. I believe you made your point, and it would be nice for us to leave it here. Thanks for calling. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
Now, so,
thank you.
I'm saying, oh, you were speaking, right?
Yes.
Go ahead.
I said until we get to a point where we see ourselves as Nigerians, and these leaders should also not forget they would account for their stewardship someday. You will go back to the same people you once led and didn't lead right.
Yeah.
No matter how long you stay abroad or you have houses abroad, you will come back to Nigeria. This same room that we are refusing to build, you will come back to it.
Yeah.
So we should begin to understand that being the president, being a senator, is just for a period. Let me give you an instance. We had issues in Abuja where a senator and a minister were having issues.
Yeah.
Trading words.
Yeah.
What's the challenge? One person is saying you are not addressing basic needs. The other one is saying you have no right to tell me what to do. And you say we are representing the people. And somebody looks at you, you won't come back in 2027. So is that the whole essence of this conversation? Rather than working for the interest of the people.
You know how they say that politicians only think about the next election, but
obviously that's what it is today.
Yeah.
They are thinking about who comes in next, what happens next, everything. That's the more reason why you don't have sincerity of purpose. People do not. Now, I don't know how we reason as a people. I don't know. But we are forgetting that someday our children will be in need of these same doctors we are pretending not to see.
Hold your thoughts. Let's take this guy. Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, good day. What's your name, please?
I'm calling from Kogi State.
Kogi State. Where in Kogi State? Okay. So what's the name? All right, go ahead. Let's have your take.
Sir, I can agree with the man doing something else that he's talking.
All right.
See, Nigeria, the whole Nigeria see themselves as Nigeria. The citizens of Nigeria see themselves as Nigeria. There will be no any progress in Nigeria. In a situation whereby a Yoruba man is a great president, and the Yoruba people will see themselves that they don't want to participate, that they will not be able to face the truth. Like, if they say anything and they say that this is our son, this is our daughter, this has been the problem of Nigeria. Like, if you see the protest that just ended just a few days ago, you can see that within the Yoruba people state, the Yoruba state refused to participate. To participate in that protest. If it is outside there, that the same thing with when Buhari was there throughout his tenure. During NSAS, they refused to participate.
So you're saying, Olukayode, you're saying that the one major problem we have is the tribal sentiments.
Tribalism.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
You need to face it squarely and fight it together as one Nigeria.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Right. So, please. Okay. Let's just see if we can take this.
Hello.
Hello. Good afternoon.
Hello. I'm here. I'm with you.
No. Thanks, Kayode. We're done.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Now, so let's have your concluding thoughts on that.
I think for me, it's amazing that Nigerians are beginning to understand that what's key today is seeing ourselves as Nigerians.
First of all.
So it's not about who governs us, where the person comes from. It's about development for Nigerians in Nigeria. Until we begin to get to that, we are far from reality.
Good. So, Ambassador, you're saying that there are things that need to be put in place, even if you want to put a restriction on relocation for doctors.
Yes, sure.
Yeah.
Yes, sure.
Like improving the conditions of service.
Yes.
And all that.
That does not even need a law to stop them from traveling. If home is good, nobody wants to stay abroad. Recently, a friend of mine relocated back from the US after spending 20 years. And he feels he wants to come back and contribute to the development here. That he became tired of the place. This is somebody who had been given license to practice in all of the states in the US as a pharmacy. He wants to come back to Nigeria. And then he's seen some things in the country and it's shocking. He doesn't think he can continue anymore.
And on that note, let's take a break.
Okay.
And when we come back, we take the last lap. Welcome back. This is still the POLITY coming to you live from the Abuja studio of KAFTAN TV. My name is Dayo, Omoogun, and I have in the studio with me Ambassador Jeremiah Agala, just to set the record straight once again.
Thank you so
Probably
much.
somebody is watching and is wondering who are these. Yeah, so I want to start this segment by taking this call.
That's fine.
Hello? Hello.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon. Can you hear me?
Claire.
Yeah, my name is Mr. John Darlington.
John Darlington, yeah?
Yes, I like the topic that I like the topic that
You've not told us where you're calling from.
Yes, I'm calling from Abuja here.
From Abuja. Go ahead, please.
I'm calling from Abuja.
Yep.
Okay, I say this topics are very topical and the standard issues that need to be addressed.
All right.
Yes, number one, I want to start by saying this is a Council of Elders or Council of States that just met. And they are giving the president a vote of confidence. I'm not sure that, from the analogy you have made, I'm sure that they want the president to fail.
Okay. So it will be nice. It will be nice. It will be nice to raise the volume of your voice a little. Thanks.
Yes, I said if they don't want the
Good.
president to fail,
Yeah.
if they really like the president, they would have told him. Yes, they would have told him that Nigeria is not moving forward, and they should have told him the things that need to be done to appease the nation, to appease the masses, to let there be the hunger cry that has been just had. Let there be a way that can be ameliorated. But they just start there after they give me a vote of confidence. Maybe because they have failed previously, they want him to fail already. That's number one.
Go ahead. Go ahead quickly. Yeah.
These people at the National Assembly that they passed a bill that this is that passing down. They are being deceptive. They are deceiving themselves. They are just scratching the surface. They have not addressed the main issues that made the people to leave the shores of this country. What are we saying? The environment is not conducive enough for medical practice. They have been catching since COVID-19 for a lot of improvement in the hospitals. Of the matter has been done. And you now tell them that when they finish, that law will not work.
So it will not work.
The same people in the government that will still give them the visas to go to where they want to go. Let us not deceive ourselves.
All right, Darlington.
Let us go from what former President Tinubu have said. If Nigeria is sitting on a keg of gunpowder, we should address the issues immediately before it explodes. Let us stop deceiving ourselves. Let us stop all these surface dressing. It will help us.
Thank you. Thank you. Hello? Hello? Okay. Now, see, let's quickly take a look at this issue of the new remuneration package for judges. Beginning from now, the Chief Justice of Nigeria will earn 64 million naira every year. And that comes to about 5.39 million every month. And then right down like that. The president of the appeal court is to go home with 62 point something million and so on and so forth. Now, the question is, do you think this is the right step in the right direction, especially considering that you also have people today who are being expected to be grateful that they have been promoted from 30,000 to 70,000 naira per month?
I should have said it's a yes, but unfortunately I would say it's the wrong step, and I'll tell you why.
Why?
If we have a nation that is working, that's even small. Good. Judges are supposed to be kept at a position where they can't be compromised. Nothing you actually give to them would actually make them corrupt.
Yeah.
But today, everything this administration does and everything our government does, we need to look at it twice. What's the motive behind it? Why now? Why? So how do you explain?
What time would have been better for this?
How do you explain that it was discovered that the person who gave the judgment restricting protesters to MKO Abiola's stadium is related to the minister?
Well, if the law, I think that we also need to be careful about.
There's no law to it.
Exactly. If there's no law, that says that my son, if he's a practicing judge, that I cannot get.
Like I started, I said anything that they do now.
Yeah,
we need
there's some suspicion.
Good, because the people are hungry. You are not doing anything to benefit the common man, but you are doing everything to benefit your elite, because you can quickly get a judgment. You can quickly get judgment in your favor. It's this same country, somebody said he influenced his wife.
Very unfortunate statement. Who at that time was the president of the appeal court.
Good. To give judgment in favor of his friends. So why should we not question this sudden increment? Would there have been a better time? No.
Right.
It's a good time, but it's a wrong step. There are too many pressing challenges that needed this administration needed to address.
On the other hand, don't you think that this is a better time than, for example, if they had left this till around next year or the other year, it would even be more widely touted, widely seen.
So their calculation is better to do it early, so that we don't suspect that it's political. But we are also suspecting early. Even now.
If so, there will never be a good time to do this.
Please, let this kind gesture cut across. That's all we're saying.
Okay.
We're not saying that it is wrong.
Because for me, I think we should look at this. For me, I think that like the point you made in your opener, when you said that indeed, if the system was working, even this is small.
It's small, yes.
But for now, I think this is fairly good, because if somebody pockets 5-point-something million and probably lives in the government quarters and probably rides a government vehicles, and so those issues are not there, I think that 5.39 is some good money per month. Now, so that should shield such a person from unnecessary pandering to all kinds of offers, which is very necessary for the rule of law, for justice to be properly dispensed. So I think on that note, and if you say that the time is wrong, what time will be right? So these are issues. But finally, the clincher, the better point that you have made is the fact that if this were to cut across, but again, like I said, this is even against the backdrop of the fact that some people are just moving from 30 to 70. Of course, you cannot place the Chief Justice of Nigeria with the least paid worker at the same time.
I agree.
But at the same time, I'm sure that people in their minds are going to say, if somebody can get that, why can't I get a lot better than I am getting?
We're saying the same thing. I am saying, let this administration do more.
Let's let people in. Hello, good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Hello.
Yeah, good afternoon.
My name is Umar. Umar Hazare from Bauchi State.
Umar
Hazare from Bauchi State.
from Bauchi State. Please go ahead quickly.
Hazare from Bauchi State.
Yeah, I've heard you, yeah?
Yes, please, my take is on the recent extension of local government autonomy to October.
Okay.
This particular act of the state governors, the president has made me feel Nigerian wars of bad governance will never end.
Even though that's not on the cards today, but just go on. Go on.
Yeah, the 3-month extension to me, the 3-month extension to me is a simple way of giving the state governors the opportunity to window dress their plundering attitudes. Yes, it's like they now have the time to obtain loans using the local government account to dry them up for at least the next 10 years. This is what most of the governors are doing.
Do you have evidence of this? Do you have evidence of this?
As far as local government citizens are concerned.
No.
Yes.
It's not a good thing to just bandy certain things on air, where on air this is being watched from all around the globe. So when you say certain things, you must have evidence to back it up.
What do you expect when we have the people in leadership position who do not have sincerity of purpose?
So
you leave people to speculations.
Exactly.
And
that's what's happening.
So that's what you get, you know.
maybe we'll take this one, and then we should be on the home drive right now.
That's fine.
Hello?
Hello?
Yeah?
Good afternoon, sir.
Yeah, good afternoon, bro.
I'm Uja APA calling from Makodi, Benue State.
All right. APA?
Yes, APA.
APA, go ahead.
On my take on the Council of State meeting. In fact, when I heard that there will be Council of meeting on Tuesday, I was very much excited that even at the result of the protest, nothing good come out from the protest. We are looking at maybe when the former leaders of this nation meet together, they'll have something good to tell the president and something good to come out from the meeting.
All right.
Just for me to go online this morning to see that they pass a vote of confidence on the president.
What were you expecting?
I was very disappointed. Very, very much disappointed that with the situation of Nigeria, the current situation of Nigeria, for Council to pass the vote of confidence on the president to say they are the I don't know. I'm short of words.
Short of words.
The only thing at this level, something good cannot come out. Then when we expect something good to come from again, the youth protest, nothing come out. The council says nothing come out. Then who else will come to our aid now?
Thank you very much, APA. You made your point.
I'm looking forward to them, but then now that which is like that was like Nigeria, they say court. The court is the last hope of the common mind. In this case now, the council says should be our last hope now. And then the whole hope has been dashed.
Yes, sir.
The hope has been dashed.
Thank you, APA. Your point well made. Well made.
Even the council of aid, they are past COVID. Even with them, let me even doubt that.
All right, APA. Let's do this another time. Thank you very much. Now, so I would be moving to the you've cited fuel queues, right? And for the umpteenth time, I don't know what exactly do we need to do, but that will be right after this time out. Welcome back once again as we go on the home drive right now. In a few minutes, this program will be over for today, and I hope that you're having a great time watching proceedings thus far. My guest has been Ambassador Jeremiah Agala.
Thank you.
And he's been doing a great job here, and I see that people are already, he's got so much commendation in the course of the program. And so I might be taking just 1 or 2 or 3 calls, and then he'll round up, and that will be it. Thank you for staying tuned.
Thank you.
Hello?
Hello.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, please go ahead.
I'm calling from Nasarawa State. My name is Omoogun.
Yeah? Let's hear you. Let's hear what you have to say.
What I actually want to say is that the problem of this country is leadership problem.
All right.
How can the whole nation protested because of bad governing? Then our leaders, the past leaders, came out and said they are passing a vote of confidence on the president. When the same president, when he addressed the nation, he did not say anything tangible about the protest. So this is not acceptable.
All right.
Until when we get this right. Leadership problem is our problem. Until we get this right, we'll continue to remain where we are.
Thank you very much.
Because many of these leaders that are there in position now, they are being imposed on the people. After election, the people that will not go and take the affairs of this country. People that they are imposed on us will go to the affairs of the country and they do anyhow, do whatever they want. It is wrong.
Well,
we should try to get this right for this to work in this country.
If the election issues have been taken to the tribunals and the decision has been taken, you can't really lay claim to imposition. But your point is made. Thank you very much for contributing, and keep watching. Ogo. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Hello.
Hello, good day, sir.
Good day.
I really appreciate you for your program.
Thank you.
So, you see, the problem we are talking about in this country.
We don't know who's speaking to us and where you're calling from.
Sorry, sir. This is Muhammad from Abuja.
Okay.
If you look at the problem of this country, when we're talking about the ex-president, whatever they are involved in the meeting, they are all part of the problem. So that's why they cannot put the blame on the present president now. Are you getting me right?
I can hear you.
The vote of confidence is that one are right. But the other problem we are having too, that we citizens, are we ready to make this country to be good? That is number one problem. That is even above these people that we are talking about.
So the problem is a collective between followership and leadership then, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Are we ready? Either you are Christian, either you are Muslim, it's going on in the mosque, it's going on in the churches, it's going on everywhere. Until you all go back to the drawing board. These people are pushing us to where we are now. But are we ready for the correction? That is what we need to look into. Every one of us, starting from home, parents with their kids, teachers with their students, lecturers with their students, everywhere. We need to work on this to be able to get it better. Nigeria is great. No country in the whole world where we don't see Nigeria performing well.
Great.
Why are we having problems when it comes to our own land?
Good one.
Why are we having problems when it comes to Nigeria on its own? That is where you have to look into.
Good one. Can we leave it there?
Yeah, it's okay.
Thank you very much. Thank you. We'll take the last one now. If you're, who's going to be this last caller, this lucky caller? All right. So while waiting for that last lucky caller, if the space still permits. Okay. So let's take this person now. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. Yeah. The last caller we're taking for today. Your name is what?
Mr. Ajibola from Oyo State, Ibadan.
Ajibola. All right.
From Oyo State.
Yeah. Good afternoon.
Yes. If you don't expect, sir.
Yeah.
I want to ask you a question. Please don't be annoyed.
I asked the questions.
Your family as a farmer, sir.
I asked the question, sir, but okay, let me just for.
You know why I asked this question, sir?
Why do you ask?
In 1980,
yeah.
all my family, 90% of us were farmers. But today, grace of God, none of them are farmers now.
Okay.
All our children also scatter all over the world.
All right.
Who's going to make the beans, rice, and yam? Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye. Sharp one. So who's going to go to the farm? Who's going to make the rice, the yam, Well, I'm sure that my analyst can answer that in addition to whatever he was going to put across. Now, Ambassador, what exactly is this constant recycling, resurfacing of fuel issues? Today there's fuel, the next day there's no fuel. In some places I hear that as of now, or as of this morning, is going for 950 around Maraba per liter. Why? What exactly is happening? What exactly should be done?
The whole idea is sabotage.
You think so?
I know so.
All right. Tell us.
I want us to look at it from the perspective of certain people being disenfranchised.
Okay.
Certain people feeling that they've had monopoly over the years and then somebody is taking it away from them. So they will do everything to fight back. The only challenge we have as a government is the fact that there were no structures in place to address these issues before taking off subsidy. So at this point, it now feels like there are people fighting the system, irrespective of who is involved or who is not. So all along, it's not been about the people.
Because part of what was sold to us is that once subsidy is taken off, some of these hiccups, some of these hitches will become a thing.
We have deregulations right now where every filling station sells at their price. You buy from a filling station today, they tell you 670. You go to the next one, it tells you 690. You go to the next one, it tells you 700. So what's still the challenge? So there are certain people who feel they should be at the helm of the control of this thing, and then it's been taken off them. So you keep hearing the fight today. There's a Dangote problem with NNPCL. There's this one with this one. It's just all sabotage. And then the Nigerian masses are the ones that bear the brunt.
Now, what about the refinery connection? I think today again, I heard that it's been postponed again. What is it now? We're supposed to be talking about refurbishment or repair or something, but that's been postponed. And for how many times?
I remembered one time when this current president made a statement and said the refinery was going to work at a particular time. OBJ responded to him and said, be careful with what you are saying. That thing will not work. And then they told him he's not the president. And he smiled. Where are we? So this is what the leadership aspect didn't take into consideration. If we had the refineries working, you can then come up and then do anything. That's fine. But as it is now, we're in a fix where subsidy is taken off, refineries are not working. Some of these people are still fighting that same system. I was talking with somebody this morning and I said to him, I think this is the part where the military is better than this civilian something we're doing. Because he wakes up one morning and said the refinery works in 3 months.
And he has to.
You dare not stand on his way.
They are next to God.
Do you get?
Yeah.
So but this time, we try to play civil. We allow people. And so people will naturally be people. And that's what we are seeing. And it is the masses suffering.
But if people will naturally be people, why is it that in other climes these things don't happen this way?
There are systems in place.
Good. So
there are systems. There are systems that address corruption. Do you understand?
Yeah.
What we have here, we have a system that pampers the corrupt.
Corruption.
Not corruption itself now, the corrupt. They are the ones making the laws. They are the ones executing the laws. So there's little or nothing much you can do. The system shields them. So this is not far from the people who pass vote of confidence. They are still the same ones because they don't follow the fuel queues. They sit in their homes and a manager brings their fuel to their house, or they call. And then there was a time I was in a fuel queue somewhere opposite the NNPC, and they said these ones are coupon members. So whilst you are all in the queue, they drive in, their tanks are filled and they are gone. You are standing there, coupon members. So it pampers them, it shields them. Until this is addressed, leadership will have challenges actually addressing this fuel queue issues.
You have exactly 45 seconds to give a last line on everything that we've deliberated on.
I just hope that Nigeria works. My prayer is it works. Let's not keep telling our children the same story. Keep holding on, it will get better. My dad said the same thing to me. I wouldn't want to tell that to my children. Let's get this nation working. We have what it takes to get it working.
Thank you very much. On that note, viewers, we'll bring this program to an end today. You can join us again same time, 2 p.m. tomorrow. and Macaulay Hunohashi will be here to take you on. Thank you very much, Ambassador Jeremiah Agala.
It's a privilege.
I like
Thank
the
you
name,
so
by the
much.
way. And my name is Dayo Omoogun, and we thank you so very much. We want to thank those who made it here through phone calls. We had Muhammad from Abuja. We had somebody Azare from Bauchi. We had a PA also from Benue. We had Ajibola from Ibadan. We had someone from Onisha, and so on and so forth. So from around the world, thank you so very much for making this program the great program it has come to be. Thank you so much. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And some other time we'll call on you. Please make yourself available. Thank you very much.
Find me.